Good morning, children. So in the last class, almost all we were completed the Mendelian disorders. So we are already into the last topic, that is nothing but the chromosomal disorders. One of the interesting as well as important topic for the purpose of the competitive also. So the question arises, the terminology itself indicates what is chromosomal disorders. There are several disorders or genetical diseases arise due to the chromosomal abnormalities. So, what is chromosomal disorders? There are several genetical disorders or the diseases arises due to the chromosomal abnormalities. He is known as chromosomal disorders. Okay. So today we will discuss in detail about all those things. And in your syllabus, they have given only 3 type of the disorders, that is nothing but Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome and Turner syndromes. Okay, yeah, fine. Let's start the discussion with respect to the chromosomal disorders. As I said, the disorders caused due to the absence or excess or abnormal arrangement of one or more chromosomes. So that's what I said. Whenever it will happens, the chromosomal disorders, it happens because of change in the chromosomal number due to aneuploidy. That means the chromosomal disorders is of 2 types. There are 2 possibilities. One is aneuploidy, another one is polyploidy. What is aneuploidy? Aneuploidy is a condition which involves the addition or deletion or one of 2 chromosomes in the diploid state. So that means the aneuploidy in the condition which involves the addition. So that means 2n is equal to 46. There may be possibility of the increases number or the deletion. There may be possibility of the deletion of 1 or 2 chromosomes. So that means it may happen 46 plus 1 or plus 2, or sometimes it may become 46 minus 1 or minus 2. Then it may become 45 or 44. So in that diploid set, that's what I said. It will happen where in a diploid 2n. So this is called the aneuploid. And it is due to the, generally, what is the reason behind this? This type of the abnormalities. It is due to the non-disjunction or non-separation of the chromosome during the formation of gametes. As a result, one gamete receives both the chromosomes of that pair and other without the chromosome of that pair. So, due to the addition or deletion, when it will happen due to the non-disjunction or non-separation, as a result, one gamete receives both the chromosomes of that pair and the other without the chromosome of the pair. So it may be increases or sometimes maybe not increases. So this is called a non-disjunction of chromosome occur either in autosome or allosomes. It may be happens in the case of the body formation chromosomes, that is autosomes or allosome, in the sexual chromosomes also. So this, let us discuss one by one. As I said, so these are all abnormal children are physically challenged or mentally challenged children. You must have observed. So as I said, here the diagrammatic representation during the formation of the gametes. Okay, it is undergo the division during meiosis first and meiosis second. Normally, if it is happens, there will be no problems. That's what it is indicated in the right side. When it will be aneuploidy happens, it is the gain or loss of chromosomes due to the failure of segregation of the chromatids during cell division. In normal cases, what will happen? If you see above the right side, thermoploidy, it will be quite normal. But after this one, just check it out. In case of the aneuploidy, there are types of the aneuploidy. They have given one by one only the nullisomy. The null isomy means it is 2n minus 2. So that means 46 minus 2, it may become 44. It is an abnormality, right? So that is a null isomy or null isomic type of aneuploidy. Then there is another case, monosomy, 2n minus 1. The 46 minus 1, it will become 45. That is also a type of the aneuploidy. And there is another possibility, double monosomic, 2n minus 1, again minus 1. So that means the totally how much it will become? It will become 44. That is a double monosomic or monosomy. Okay, then trisomic. Here only it's there 2n plus 1, that is 46 plus 1, it will become 47. That is also a abnormal, isn't it? Then tetrasomic, the 2 number, that is a 2n plus 2, that is 46 plus 2, it will become 48 chromosome. That is also abnormal, isn't it? Yeah. So there are some cases, of course it is rare, but still it is recorded. Double tetrasomic, 2n plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so then what is the number of the ploidy? 46 plus 2 plus 2, it is become 50. So these are the types of the aneuploidy we can identify in case of the chromosomal disorders. So during the formation of a non-disjunction, there is a non-disjunction or non-separation of the chromosomes during formation of gametes. Okay, so then there will be a possibility of the addition or deletion. Okay, so this is the reason behind the formation of aneuploidy. So that's what I said. So just now I have explained the null isomy means 2n minus 2. A chromosome pair is lost from the diploid set. Then the number may note down and remember these things, because these things they will ask in the quantitative. The chromosomal ploidy or aneuploidy with respect to the null isomy, like that they will ask. Then they may give 2n minus 2, 2n minus 1, 2n plus 1, 2n plus 2. So in case of null isomy, 2n minus 2. Okay, a chromosome pair is lost from diploid set. What about in case of monosomy? 2n minus 1, that is 46 minus 1, 45. A chromosome is lost from diploid set. Okay, so in the trisomy, 2n plus 1, 46 plus 1, a chromosome is added to the diploid set. And the fourth one is tetrasomy, 2n plus 2, a chromosome are added to diploid set. Just observe the right side during the normal meiosis as well as the abnormal meiosis. See what happens during the formation of the gametes. Exactly half of the chromosomal number should move towards the gametes. But during abnormal cases, one chromosome will be extra, will move towards the half of the number of the formation of gametes. Then these are all the reasons behind the aneuploidy. So what about the other case, polyploidy? Poly means the terminology, the number, many. Poly means many. Okay, it is also known as in the name of the euploidy. In this case, what happens? In case of the polyploidy, it is an increase in the whole set of the chromosomes due to the failure of the cytokinesis after the telophase stage of the cell division. That means during the cell division, in the beginning, what happens? The cell undergo karyokinesis. That chromosome number will be increases. That means whenever the chromosome number increases, for example, if I take example of human only, during the completion of the karyokinesis, so it will become 46 plus 46. If normally the cell division completes, that means cytokinesis also happens. The 46 will be remains in one cell and the 46 will be remains in another cell. Isn't it? Okay. In case of mitotic only, or if in case of the meiosis, So half of the number will be remains in one cell and half of number will be remains in another cell. But what happens in this case, that means in the case of the polyploidy, an increase in a whole set of chromosomes due to the failure of the cytokinesis. After kinesis, there will be no cytokinesis. Then what happens after the telophase stage of the cell division also, the whole set of the chromosome is increased. So this is an abnormality, isn't it? So that is the reason. Okay. And remember, it is very rare in case of humans but often seen in the plants. Nowadays also, for the purpose of the good deeds, they are using the techniques induced polyploidy, but there is also abnormality, isn't it? So just observe here, during the formation of the parental species, Tn is equal to 6. If you take example of Tn is equal to 6, then meiotic error, what happens? Unreduced gametes, it's going as it is. And the self-fertilization, what happens? The 4n, it will become 12. So that means finally it is become diploid, should be remains as diploid in case of the normal, but during abnormal, in case of polyploidy, diploid is become tetraploid, 4n will become 12. So this is abnormal, right? Yes. So that's what we call the polyploidy or euploidy. Okay. Yeah. So these are the two types of the chromosomal disorder generally we can identify in case of the plants and animals, that is aneuploidy and polyploidy. So let us discuss, so whatever it is present in your syllabus, the chromosomal disorders. In that one, the first one is the Down syndrome. The Down syndrome is also known as Mongolism or monoglot idiocy. Actually, the Down syndrome is a autosomal hyperaneuploidy. Okay, I will tell you why. So let us discuss about the chromosomal disorder. In that one, first one, the Down syndrome. The Down syndrome, it is the most familiar autosomal abnormality in humans. If you would have observed the children's, the photograph which is given in this slide, it was first noticed by the name of the scientist, a British physician, Langdon Down. The name of the British physician, Langdon Down, is the person who discovered this type of the abnormality or the Down syndrome in 1856. And actually, it occurs in 1 among 1,000 births. Of course, it is rare, but still it is noticed. Okay, and so this incidence occurs in the babies who are born generally invariably to the old mothers in late marriages. Sometimes they may marry old mothers after the 35-40 life age. So in such cases we can identify this type of the disorders. As such, babies will have an extra chromosome from 21st pair of the autosomes. Note on all these points. They will ask the questions in the NEET and CET. The Down syndrome, it is the presence of an additional copy of the chromosome exactly from 21st pair of autosome. That's why it is also known as trisomy. Okay. We can add Down syndrome is also known as tetrasomy. Justify the statement. Then you should write. The babies will have an extra chromosome from 21st pair of chromosome. So hence it is also called trisomy. Therefore, the affected individual has 47 chromosomes instead of 46. And this condition can be seen, that means Down syndrome can be seen in both cases of the male and females. In case of the male, the chromosomal complement in the male is 45 autosomes plus XY. In case of the female, the chromosomal complement is 45 autosomes plus XX. Okay, so that means the genetic constitution in case of the males and females, the autosome number is increased. The remaining chromosomal number remains as it is. Okay, so that's why the Down syndrome can be identified in case of both males and females also. As I said, the reason it is due to the non-disjunction of the chromosomes during the formation of gametes in all females. Okay, and remember, the Down syndrome is also known as Mongolism or Mongoloid idiocy. It is an autosomal hyperaneuploidy. As I said, autosomal hyper, the autosome numbers is increased. Instead of 44, it is become 45. And aneuploidy, that's what I said, trisomy 2n plus 1. Okay, yeah. So here exactly you can identify the chromosomes also given, the pattern of the chromosome. And how can we say, yes, these children is suffering from the Down syndrome only based on the characters or the symptoms? We can identify, yes, certain children, they are suffering from this type of the disorder only. Okay, so they are a small stature, generally short stature with small round head, okay, broad flat face, furrowed big tongue and partially open mouth. So that means they are small stature, they have small and slant eyeballs like those of Mongolian race. Okay, so that's why they have named the that means they have given the name for the syndrome, the Mongolism. Okay, they have a small and slant eyeballs like those of Mongolian race. And remember, in need they can also ask the Mongolian race, what are the characters? They have small and slant eyeballs like those of Mongolian race. This condition is also known as epicanthus. Okay, then, and also generally they have a sagging and salivating mouth. The mouth is always open. Salivating mouths we can identify. And enlarged, swollen lips and tongue, enlarged forehead, flattened nose, and generally a stubby fingers and spongy toes. You can identify the differences. Then a low IQ, intelligent quotient, and the mental retardation. So they will ask sometimes 2 marks question also. Write the symptoms of the Down syndrome. Then you should write all these symptoms. Okay, short stature with small round head, broad flat face, furrowed big tongue and partially open mouth, broad palm with characteristic palm, that is salmon series, that is salmon crease generally, many loops on the fingertips, then retarded physical, psychomotor and mental development, congenital heart disease also. So these are all the characters, the symptoms of the Down syndrome. Based on this, they can be identified as a Down syndrome. Okay, yeah, so these are the features. That's what I said. The flat facial, there's a profile, flat occipital, epicanthic folds, upward starting eyes, flat nasal bridges, protruding tongue, and also gap between the first and second toes. Okay, yeah. So these are all the characters or the symptoms of the Down syndrome. After this one, the second type of the chromosomal disorder, which is present in your syllabus, Klinefelter syndrome. Klinefelter syndrome, it is also known as allosomal. Okay, the Down syndrome is autosomal hyperaneuploidy. The Klinefelter syndrome is allosomal hyperaneuploidy. So this is a CT or NET question. Remember, they will ask. So this syndrome was reported by Harry Klinefelter. So that's why they named this disorder as a syndrome in the name Klinefelter syndrome. And this is an allosomal abnormality due to the addition of an extra chromosome. Okay, so hence it is a trisomic condition. 2n plus 1, hence the affected individual is having 47 chromosomes. That's why I say the genetic constitution, the 44 autosomes it will remain as it is, but what happens, one extra chromosome is get added to the, that means males. Okay, the chromosomal complement in such individual 44 autosomes plus XXY. So here in case you can identify the differentiate between the normal and abnormal Klinefelter syndrome. Okay, and the karyotype also given, observe properly. Okay, by observing this one extra chromosome is get added. Okay, so as for such individuals are sterile males, generally they are sterile males. The person who is suffering from the Klinefelter syndrome, they are generally sterile males. So when it comes to the characters of symptoms, they are tall stature, the body shows the obesity, scanty hair on the body, and remember, very important one, note down, overall masculine development, however the feminine development. So they show the tendency towards the female characters, like enlargement of the breast is called gynecomastia. Okay, so that means the enlargement of the breast is a feminine character, isn't it? But in case of the Klinefelter syndrome, you can identify so such a type of the enlargement of the breast. So this is also called gynecomastia. Okay, and generally, so they are sterile. Okay, because there is no production of the sperms. And remember, underdeveloped testis, it is also known as hypogonadism, and low production of the androgen, so that there is no production of the sperms, and they are all sterile. Even they are mentally retarded. Okay, yes. The last one, the last chromosomal disorder in your syllabus, that is nothing but Turner's syndrome. Turner's syndrome. Again, the Turner syndrome is allosomal hypo. This is a hypo, means less. Allosomal hypoaneuploidy. Okay, so there are three terminologies you should remember when we are discussing about this one. We will also ask in the form of as the following. Down syndrome is autosomal hyperaneuploidy. Klinefelter syndrome is allosomal hyperaneuploidy. But Turner syndrome is allosomal hypoaneuploidy. Okay, yes. So this syndrome was reported by Henry Turner. That's why generally they have given the name for this syndrome, Turner's syndrome. So this is an allosomal abnormality due to the absence of one X chromosome. Okay, so this is due to the absence of one of the X chromosome in female. Okay, and this, remember, so this is an allosomal abnormality due to the absence of one X chromosome, hence it is also called monosomy. So that means the condition 2n minus 1. So the chromosomal complement of such individual is 44 autosomes plus XO. Okay, so that means they are actually females, but in allosomes one X is missing, so that the chromosomal complement of such individual is 44 autosomes plus XO. So henceforth such individuals are sterile females. Here the chromosomal, there is a karyotype analysis also given. In the last, when they are discussing about the allosomes, one X is missing, isn't it? So you can identify the difference between the normal and abnormal Turner syndrome. In case of the normals, 44 autosomes plus XX. In case of the abnormal, there is a Turner syndromes, 44 autosomes plus XO. Okay, yeah. Let us discuss about the characters or symptoms. Based on these characters and symptoms, yes, this person we can identify they are suffering from the Turner syndrome only, isn't it? So let us discuss one by one. Generally, they are small statured, they possess a large chest, and they show webbed neck characters. They do not attain puberty. There is no menstrual cycle, and breasts are underdeveloped. Ovaries are rudimentary, underdeveloped. They do not produce ovum, hence they are sterile females. Okay, so that means why they are sterile? There will be no menstrual cycle. The sterile ovaries are rudimentary, lack of other secondary sexual characters, and there will be no menstrual cycle. Only there will be no question of the reproduction. As I said, they are small stature, dwarf, and even they are mentally retarded. Okay, please note down the symptoms, or else you may get confused with respect to one to the another syndromes. In case of the Turner syndromes, what are the characters or the symptoms? They are small stature, they possess large chest, they show webbed neck, they do not attain puberty, there is no menstrual cycle, breasts are underdeveloped. Are you writing? Ovaries are rudimentary, underdeveloped, and they do not produce ovum. Hence they are sterile female. Okay. So these are all with respect to the characters or symptoms of the Turner syndrome. So this is with respect to the chapter, the principles of inheritance variations. Okay. Yeah. So in this chapter we will discuss about the various things from the beginning. In the beginning we will discuss about the Mendelian, the hybridization experiments. Then after that we will discuss about the monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, incomplete dominance, and chromosomal, that means inheritance. So later we will also discuss about the experimentation of the Morgans, and later we will discuss about the Mendelian, that is Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. So let it be. So these are all about the fifth chapter, the principles of inheritance and variation. Next class we will continue with respect to the competitive. Then after we will start with the new chapter. Okay. I hope you people understood. If you having still doubts, please message me, or you are feel free to call me, ask any questions which is related to this chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.